What's up, everybody? So we need to talk about this VISD bond election coming up on May 1st. I'm making this video tonight because, frankly, I'm scared that this deal isn't going to go through. Not because it can't go through, but because of the results of the last bond election, combined with the fact that the turnout could be pretty lousy for this particular election. So I'm scared that it's going to get voted down. If you're watching this, you probably know I teach in VISD. And I actually teach at Stroman Middle School for part of my day, which has been proposed as a full rebuild in this bond package. It's 74 million of the total 157 million, so it's like half the bond. I love my students at Stroman, and I love the people that I work with, but that place is in bad shape, y'all. Like, I speak from personal experience. Like, so for example, the first month of school, the AC did not work in my room at all. It was just a room full of hot air, and it got even hotter with students and teachers and everybody breathing in there. And we had box fans, you know, and so that was our defense, not just against the heat, but against the COVID fumes too. So that was kind of an interesting first month of school. So they finally got that fixed. The Wi-Fi has gone out at least a dozen times this year. One day, just in the last few weeks here, the water turned off completely. So for the rest of that morning, it became my job to tell kids, no, you can't go to the bathroom. No, you can't refill your water bottle. The lights have gone out on us during class twice this year. I mean, I could go on, but it's, you know, that kind of stuff is not surprising anymore. You know, so it becomes an issue of how are we going to recruit and retain great teachers to work in a place like that? You know, it isn't going to happen. You know, if you've got 3 or 4 schools and you're trying to decide where you want to go to work, that's just not going to be a real attractive option for a talented teacher who's got options. How are we going to get good administrators there? You know, in a Title I school like Stroman, your butt is on the line every year. If you're a principal, who's going to take on that responsibility, especially if the community has demonstrated that your school does not have their support, you know, which again, I'm afraid is what's going to happen if we're not careful here. There have been several opportunities for me to visit other schools in other districts, in other communities where there's lots of support, like financial support. And I've had to hold back tears, literally hold back tears. To see what they have to work with versus what we have to work with. You know, it's just not right. It's not right at all. Now, why am I still here? Because this is home. I love Victoria, and I want to have the success here. I've got a pretty good resume. I mean, I could get a job tomorrow in pretty much any school district that I wanted to, but this is where I belong. And this is a defining moment for us, I think, as a district and as a community. We need this bad. And this is fiscally responsible. You know, this wasn't just put together by 4 people in a room. This was a very big task force made up of community members that brought this recommendation. This is fiscally responsible. Our VISD total tax rate is the lowest it's been in a long time, like decades. Some people think that we should be operating schools on 100% state funding, and that's another conversation. The reality of it is, though, that the state provides less than half of any school district's funding. And you're not going to prove a point to the people in Austin by putting your foot down in little old Victoria, Texas. The state dollars are not going to come. Everybody else has got this figured out except us. This is how we have to pay for stuff. Right or wrong, this is how we have to pay for stuff. So if you're for the bond, you need to show up and vote on May 1st. That's the best thing you can do. The turnout's probably going to be lousy, and if you show up, your vote will probably count way more than you think. Facebook isn't the same. There's a lot of negative talk on Facebook and stuff about this election. You're not going to change these people's minds. Don't argue with them. You're wasting your time. When it comes to politics, people are going to believe what they want to believe. You know, whether some of it's true, all of it's true, or none of it's true, people usually don't change their minds with politics. If you're against the bond, I'll refer you to a question posed by my friend John Griffin. And he said, what do you think is cheaper, doing this now or waiting 10 years and doing it then? And in the meantime, paying higher maintenance costs. So maybe you don't have kids in VISD, and I get that. Maybe you just dropped 85 grand on a new pickup with all the bells and whistles. and you don't want your damn taxes to go up because you can't afford it. You know, you got to do what you got to do. But listen to the whole story before you make up your mind against it. I'll post some information here below the video. If we can make this happen and that new Stroman goes up, and you know, we've got a big, beautiful, clean new school that's going to inspire teachers, students, parents, community members. How many people do you think are going to drive past that school in 5 years and say, yeah, that was a terrible idea. We never should have done that? I don't know. I'm just telling you what I think. So get your butts to the polls May 1st.